logging into the meeting with a big old stain.
What'd you do?
I know. Yeah. Yep.
Good evening, everyone. I hereby announce that pursuant to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the notice, which was sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and posted on the bulletin board in Township Hall, and filed in the Township Clerk's office on January 3rd, 2025. Mayor Foster,
Here.
Ms. LaMountain,
Here.
Mr. Impreviduto,
Here.
Mr. Lucarelli,
Here.
Mr. Romano.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Excellent. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please just remain standing for a moment of silence for our troops at home and abroad who serve us tirelessly. Thank you. Sorry we were running late a little bit. We had a bunch of things on the agenda. But when do you want to kick us off?
The proclamation for the Homedale D12 cheer team.
All right. Again, sorry to keep you girls waiting. Long overdue. Whereas the Homedale AYC D12 cheer team competed in the Jersey Shore American Youth Cheer Competition and the Big East Regional American Youth Cheer Competition this season, and the 6th grade through 8th grade members of the team won grand champions and first place at the Jersey Shore competition and earned first place in their division at the Big East Regional Competition. And the Homedale AYC D12 cheer team went on to compete in the American Youth Cheer National Championships in Florida, hitting 0 with their routine. And competitive cheer is a sport that requires the execution of a routine that has been practiced for countless hours. And the Homedale D12 team members and their family members put in a great deal of time and energy into the team's shared successes throughout the season. And the players were led, supported, and encouraged in their own endeavors and successes by coaches Gene Berardi, Chris Drogaris, Michelle Marachino, Amy Munley, and Lara Primikov, and assisted in their routines by demonstrators Sophia Dietz, Mia Marino, and Ava Pescator, and team parent Aaron Belanco. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Township Committee of the Township of Homedale that congratulations be extended to the following: Bryn Belanco, Juliana Berardi, Kaylee Carbone, Sienna Carey, Emily Chalhoub, Parker Drake, Zara Drogaris, Francesca Green-Labat, Gia Lottenberg, Madeline Marinaccio, Madison Marinaccio, Alexa Maravalias, Amelia Munley, Reese Plaka, Evelyn Primikov, Sarah Rejaj, Isabella Riley, and Josephine Serini, personally and officially on behalf of the residents of the community for their outstanding achievements. Be it further resolved that a suitably engrossed copy of this resolution be presented to the team as a small token of the esteem in which they are held, and be it further resolved that all the best wishes be extended to all for continued success in their future endeavors. Proclaimed this 25th day of February, 2025. Congratulations, girls. How about you guys come up and take a picture?
Congratulations, girls. Great job.
Congratulations, girls.
You can come
Any of the parents like to come up and take any pictures with the team?
Yeah.
Of the team, absolutely.
Yeah, it was nice.
Although Joe was pretty flyer in his day.
He didn't get booed up. It was top of the pyramid.
TG, where you go?
They want the TC behind him. Oh, God. But they didn't want us. All right, girls, have a couple of cameras here. Great job, girls. Congrats.
Thank you.
You ready?
Okay, moving right along. Next would be public comment on agenda items only for this evening. Mr. Trishita? And girls from the cheer team, you guys aren't required to stay unless you absolutely want to. It would not be, we would not be upset if you guys all decided to take those proclamations and head home. Congratulations again, guys, and thank you very much for coming out. Pat, I'm sorry I just cut your audience in half.
That's fine. Thank you. Patrick Triskita, 56 Line Road. I fully support the resolution for Homedale to apply for a grant through the New Jersey Heritage Fund, Historical Trust Fund, for $100,000, which hopefully they'll throw in 75 and Homedale will throw in 25,000, and that will be used to preserve the Homedale horn antenna. It's time that we do that and get moving on that project. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Anybody else? Agenda items only? Mr. Lupi?
Line Road. I'm going to table a lot of my items because it seems like it's going to be a long night tonight. I have a question. The one item I do have a question on is the light, which I guess is at the pickleball courts.
Yes.
When are the courts open right now, the posted hours for the courts? Do we know what that is?
Not off the top of my head, but daylight hours pretty much.
Dawn to dusk. So we're going to spend $310,000 for lighting the pickleball courts. Are we going to extend the hours?
You will be able to play when it's dark, Lance, yes.
Okay.
That's the idea with the lights. Once it gets dark.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand.
Understood.
What's the all-in cost? So it's $309,000, but it looks like there's some subcontracting costs associated with that, if I read the agreement correctly.
I believe most of the conduit has been laid already. Bill, do you happen to know?
No, but we can check with Barbara with that.
Thanks, we'll have to get you that, but we believe the conduit was laid already. So all of infrastructure should be in place, and it's just a matter of now getting it lit.
What about all the other costs associated, site prep costs, a bunch of stuff I noticed? That's a pretty big document. I'm sure you guys all read it.
Pretty sure it's all
It's all
complete.
completed.
It's the project is completed. It's just not lit.
When is this going to be done?
Once we approve it, they'll start moving forward. I don't think we have an exact date on that yet.
No agreed to completion date?
We have to do this part of the process first to move
Well, I
along.
would think that part of the agreement was it'll be done within 6 months.
If-
We gotta approve the money first, and then.
I ask all these questions because as I assume why everyone else is standing or sitting behind me, that this money could cover 6% of the busing for this year. So what's the usage on the pickleball courts?
I don't know off the top of my head, Lance.
So we just decided that we're gonna spend 310,000, we don't have any usage stats on how often the pickleball courts, what expected increase in usage they're gonna see with the lighting?
At this moment, no, we do not.
So we just discretionarily spend 310,000?
Well, Lance, this was approved probably 2 years ago.
Understood.
Yeah,
I
so
disagree
just,
with I disagree with the entire project. When I was younger, there was a thing called racquetball. Anybody remember it? How many racquetball courts do you see and places do you see now? Paddleboard, that was another big one when I was younger. We don't see any paddleboard courts. So I didn't agree with the 1.5 or 2, whatever the number was on the pickleball court originally, and now we're gonna do another $310,000 when our school budget is in pretty dire straits.
Bill, when was this budgeted for?
I believe it started with ordinance 2019-01, when everything started with that.
Date-wise?
Be 2019 when all the stuff started.
Thank you.
I think just for public consumption, half of the original cost was covered by an existing grant. I think it was a recreation. I think we had leftover recreation funds.
Yeah, there's some recreation grants. We applied for this.
So
I just question if we're directing our money in the right directions.
And you're fair, and we welcome you to do that, Lance.
That's why I appreciate the dialogue. I just question that, we're in dire straits in this town for some other areas, and as I've commented before about pilot and other things, and I don't think we handled that correctly, and I'll get to that later.
Who's in dire straits? We're not in dire straits.
Well, no, we're spending $310,000 on pickleball lights. But the school is, in dire
Oh, the school is, okay, you didn't say that.
I think that's part of the town, right? The school is part of the town. Would we agree?
Yes, it's part of the town, Lance, yes.
Yeah, your children go there, my child goes there, so yeah. I'm concerned about the whole, not just, the committee portion. I'm concerned about the entire portion. I just question 310.
Understood. Thank you, Lance.
And we don't even know how much is being used. I'm just trying to understand the thought process. Is that, well, let's do this. Okay, well, it was allocated, so that doesn't mean you can't change your mind, right? We didn't say, oh, we're going to see an increase of 50% by having these lights.
Speaking to the microphone, some of the people can't hear you in the back.
There's a button on there.
People online are saying that they can't hear.
Thank you.
That's what I just told you.
Thank you.
Now it's on.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay. So I just question, we made a decision to spend $310,000. We didn't anything to say we're going to see a 50% increase in usage. This is so great for the town. We just decided, well, we have the money, so let's just spend it. When I think it's the discretion of the committee members to direct where the budget goes.
It absolutely is. We voted on it. We built the park,
Right.
and we believe it's going to get excellent usage. It is the widest growing sport currently, and I believe the facility will be used. And we thank you for your questions, Lance.
You got it. Thank you.
Anybody else with comments on agenda items only? Seeing none? Okay, Wendy, let's move forward, please.
The next items are the consent agenda, which are resolutions 2025-72 to 2025-82.
Anybody have any questions from the committee? Can we get a motion?
move. Second.
Mr. Pravaduto?
Yes.
Ms. LaMountain?
Yes.
Mr. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Romano?
Yes.
Mayor Foster?
Yes.
Resolutions 2025-72 to 2025-82 have been successfully passed. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along to departments. Chief, do you have anything as administrator, please?
We had a bad storm a little over a week ago. A lot of trees, lines down. DPW did an outstanding job coming out, working through the night, clearing roads that didn't have power lines caught in them. We lost power on most of the southern side of town. Our PD did a great job with manning traffic lights and the intersections that were down. And even to that fact, JCP&L did a real good job when they came out with their linemen during the night and the next day, getting everything cleaned up so that we could get the roads open.
Thank you, Chief. And I know we've been going back and forth with JCP&L a lot. They've been pretty responsive lately. We're going to try to meet with them later this week and just try to figure out to continue moving forward there. Bill, Chief Financial Officer, please.
I have nothing at the moment, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving along. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. One item from our executive session for the committee's consideration would be a resolution approving a scope of work for T&M Associates to perform due diligence relating to open space procurements in the amount of $9,500. If the committee would advance that.
Okay, can we get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Mr. Improviduto?
Yes.
Ms. LaMountain?
Yes.
Mr. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Romano?
Yes.
Mayor Foster?
Yes.
The resolution for the scope of work for T&M has been successfully passed. Thank you.
And that's all I had. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Ed, do you have anything from engineering?
Just, we've been in pretty much constant contact with Administrator and Mike, just ongoing projects, catching up, and starting to advance a lot of initiatives that need a little lubrication. So I think we're in pretty good shape.
Thank you very much, Ed. Then moving along, we'll start the boards and committees. DJ, how about you get us started, please?
Thank you, Mayor. So it must have been from my last prior announcements, but the daddy-daughter and the mother-son dance is sold out. So obviously there must have been a lot of people listening to me. But that's wonderful news. This is always sold out. It's a great event that the Recreation Department puts on. So I'm real happy to see that this event is still going strong to today. I remember I actually took my daughter to the first one they ever had, and it was in the Indian Hill lunchroom. It was real exciting. We sat on the cafeteria benches and everything, and that's where it started. And here it is. We're selling out a nice catering hall. So great job to the rec department. Swim club registration, as I said last meeting, is open now. I'm sorry, it's open March 4th. So get on there, be a early register for that. Summer recreation programs will open soon. Keep an eye out on the recreation website for updates. And our IT department did a great job. We had some issues with our systems went down, and our IT department did a great job getting all that back up and running. They actually also had responded to 157 help desk tickets to assist employees in the governing body and residents on different technology issues. Other than that, I have nothing else for you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lucarelli. Mr. Romano?
Thank you, Mayor. So starting with the Homedale Library, the Mahjong Club will be joined by a new Bridge Club. So now Thursdays will be game days, consisting of Bridge Club, followed by Mahjong Club, and ending with Chess Club. Aiello, the therapy dog, made 2 appearances for special programs, Read to a Dog and Doggy Do's and Don'ts, which was a presentation for children on how to safely interact with dogs. And this month's book displays included Blizzard of Books, Lunar New Year, Emergency Workers, and Community Resilience and Groundhog Days. Also, we had a very nice letter from the library. Just as an aside, Trish and the entire staff at the Homedale Library wanted to personally thank last year's mayor and Preveduto for helping facilitate all of the new library displays the township provided to Homedale Library. They're all now delivered, received, and set up, so if you haven't seen them yet, they look great. Library's looking good. On the Board of Ed side, the 2025-2026 Career Institute. The school counseling department has begun planning the 2025-2026 Career Institute, which is a series of mini career days, each focused on a different career cluster. Homedale community members are invited to participate and share information with students about their career field. More info to come soon. Congratulations to the Marlboro Homedale Mustangs hockey team on winning the Shore Conference Championship. This is the first time since 2011 that the team has secured a championship win. Congratulations to the Homedale High School fencing team for producing 2 district champions at the district tournament. Congratulations to the indoor track team, who had an outstanding winter season, setting several new school records and qualifying multiple team members for state, regional, and national championship meets. Good luck in postseason for all of those who are competing. From the Veterans Committee, the Veterans Committee held its first event of 2025 earlier this month. The event was a great success with over 20 veterans in attendance. Attendees were able to connect with fellow veterans and engage in great conversations. The next coffee and conventions will be on Thursday, March 13th at 10 a.m. at the Senior Center. Any veteran or Gold Star family members who would like to be placed on our email list, please contact the Recreation Office. That's all I got. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Impreviduto?
Thank you, Mayor. From the Homedale Police Department, a reminder that applications for the Citizens Police Academy can be found on the HTPD website and are due this Friday, February 28th. The Homedale Police Department has always been at the forefront of community policing and is committed to developing partnerships with all citizens of the township. The Citizens Police Academy provides members of the community with a background and understanding of the HTPD policies and activities, as well as the structure of their duties and limit of police power. Goal Zero High Visibility Enforcement will take place Thursday, February 27th from 3 to 7 p.m., focusing on Highway 34. Enforcement will take place every month in collaboration with other departments in the county. The goal of the enforcement is to keep drivers alert and free of distractions while driving. From the Department of Public Works, whenever snow has fallen and the snow has covered the roadway, a snow emergency exists in Homedale. During these snow emergencies, parking on any roadway throughout Homedale is prohibited. Please ensure that your vehicles are parked on your driveway or property so the snow can be removed. DPW does not pick up brush or leaves during the winter months. Please do not place brush or leaves at the curbside or on the roadway for collection during a non-scheduled season. Also, all curbside recycling receptacles should be clearly marked recycling. To obtain a Homedale Recycles sticker for your container, please contact DPW at 732-946-2820, extension 1953. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Impreviduto. Deputy Mayor LaMountain?
Thank you, Mayor. Community Development Department, there's no report for this meeting. The Homedale Green Team held their second meeting of the Community Energy Planning, which was very productive. They met on February 18th, decided what initiatives to investigate, and broke into small working groups. And these working groups will meet independently over the next few weeks, with a next scheduled meeting of Thursday, March 20th at 6:30, where everyone will share their progress. Any Homedale resident that's interested in exploring how our community can work toward a better environment for all residents by reducing emissions and conserving energy is welcome to participate by contacting the Green Team. The Green Team also submitted an application for review to Sustainable Jersey for bronze level recertification. The next Green Team meeting is Monday, March 3rd, and is open to the public. Any residents that are interested in joining, please feel free to email the Green Team at homedeletownship.com. You can also email them to learn more about the Green Team or to send any sustainability questions or suggestions. Our Homedale Heritage Committee is getting ready with a St. Patrick's Day display. The committee, along with some local Irish families, will be setting up a display at the Homedale Library to celebrate St. Patrick's Day and educate the public about various Irish traditions. The display will begin on Tuesday, March 4th, and if any residents are interested in contributing items to the display, please feel free to contact the Homedale Heritage Committee at heritagecommittee@homedeletownship.com. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just a couple of items here. Winter storm recap. I'd like to start by thanking the Office of Emergency Management, the Department of Public Works, the Homedale Police Department, the Fire Department, and the First Aid for all their hard work and dedication during the series of winter storms that we've had over the past few weeks. Thanks to these dedicated employees and volunteers, our roads were plowed, emergency information was communicated, safety was ensured, and those in need of medical attention were able to receive it. We are truly fortunate to work alongside these committed and hardworking individuals. As a reminder, I will be hosting the Mayor's Community Cleanup Day on Saturday, March 29th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Residents can volunteer to join us as we clean up the township. No pre-registration is required. Volunteers should meet at the Senior Community Center to check in, pick up their T-shirts and supplies, and receive their assignment of which area of town to clean up. On behalf of my Township Committee colleagues, I want to offer my condolences to our neighbors in Tinton Falls on the passing of their mayor, Vito Perillo. Mayor Perillo passed away over the weekend at the age of 100. He was a veteran of the Second World War. Thoughts and prayers of all of us here in Homedale Township are with Mayor Perillo's family and friends today. May he rest in peace. Additionally, before I make a couple other comments, I would just like to make a motion to introduce an ordinance by title as follows. Ordinance renaming and dedicating the Arts Center Access Road in honor of Billy DeMeo. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Improviduto?
Yes.
Ms. LaMountain?
Yes.
Mr. Lucarelli?
Absolutely.
Mr. Romano?
Yes.
Mayor Foster?
Yes, please.
Okay, the ordinance will be set for public hearing. Thank you.
Okay. So before we get to the public comment, I just like to read out a few things. So I'd like to address a recent request from the Board of Education for funding the Township Committee to support their 2025-26 operating budget. Over the past several years, the Township Committee has always worked cooperatively to address requests from the Board of Education for support with capital needs and in areas that involve the Township's jurisdiction. I would like to point out that started largely in part during Mayor Lucarelli's term and then followed with Mayor Improviduto's term. These have included supporting the lights at SAT School, funding for the Duncan Smith Theater, and fully funding our special law enforcement officers at each of the Township's schools. In addition to these efforts, this past year, the Board of Ed said its top priority was improvements to the Crawfords Corner Road, Long Street Road intersection, which has become a bottleneck ever since the BOE decided to move Saxon High School to the same start time. The Township Committee promptly acted on this request. We applied to the state for grants and have received a commitment for $3.5 million in funding. We have also directed the Township engineer at Township expense to fast-track this project. Current estimates are that this project will be potentially $1 million over the grant funding. At the same time, the BOE has asked the Township for funding to help with the budget gap that they have this year and anticipate having in future years. The Township Committee has agreed to consider the BOE's request while setting some parameters and asking for documents that support this request. As mayor, I look forward to working with the BOE to support where possible while also balancing our residents' interest on the Township side, including the need to invest in our infrastructure, which we saw in our stormwater report last year, and the need to protect our open space from Trenton-mandated housing. As a parent of four children in the school district and a former member of the Board of Education, I want to do everything possible to support our public schools while also protecting the interest of all residents who are served by our municipal government. I look forward to having further discussions with the Board of Ed to address both the Crawfords Corner Road, Long Street Road project that they requested, as well as their request for funding for this budget year. I just want to say that the dialogue is still open. We are hoping and continuing to move forward with everything. This board has shown themselves more than any board in a recent township, and I'm only here 13 years, but I also served on the Board of Ed when every one of the calls when I was on the Board of Ed went ignored, completely ignored. We will continue to discuss, and we hope to work with you guys the best we can. That being said, I'd like to open up the floor for any public comments. No. Wendy's got to read her spiel before I say it. Seeing none.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is a public comment period for public comment on any governmental issue of public concern. In accordance with Resolution 2022-17, public commenters are asked to raise their hand and wait to be recognized by the mayor before coming forward and making public comments. Commenters are asked to state their full name and address before commenting. Public commenters are limited to one comment, not to exceed 3 minutes. Comments should be directed to the mayor and township committee. If appropriate, the mayor may direct and recognize a staff employee or professional to respond to comments either at this meeting or in writing after this meeting.
Thank you, Wendy. Mr. Damari.
Thank you.
Chris Damari, 7 Oaks. Before I get started with what I was going to say, I appreciate your message there, Mayor Foster, and I do agree that this Township Committee over the last few years has definitely opened the communication line, which I think is very important for this community. So that does not go unnoticed. I do just want to note also that there's always been bottlenecks going into and out of all the schools, just the population and the roads not being modernized all these years. We're working towards that. I appreciate it. I also just wanted to note, I appreciate some of the comments before. The Homedale School District is not in dire straits. We just have financial crossroads right now, and I just want to open the floor to the whole community. So hopefully Wendy will be easy on the clock here. So I serve as I just want to let the Homedale community know, my name is Chris Damari. I serve as the Homedale Township Board of Education President, which I'm proud of. And I'm here tonight to not just talk to the Homedale Township Committee, I'm here to talk to Homedale. I'm here to talk to our community of 17,000 residents that positively are impacted by our incredible schools. Since COVID, and I appreciate some of my board members here, these dedicated volunteers that are here with me tonight. Since COVID and in today's challenging economy, many New Jersey school districts have struggled financially. The cost of running even a decent public school system has skyrocketed. Yet in Homedale, we haven't just weathered the storm, we've thrived. While the district has managed to absorb these exorbitant increases in expenses over time, we are now at a financial crossroads and some impactful decisions will need to be made. So I'd like to take this opportunity to reintroduce the Homedale Township school districts and what's been going on over the last few years since COVID. We've overcome instability, turnover, and some poor decision-making prior to COVID, and at once set our district back. Thanks to our board, administrators, and staff, Homedale was amongst one of the first to reopen schools during COVID. Mayor Foster was a part of that, and I appreciate that. We made critical investments to ensure students continued learning safely. In the past 3 years since, under Superintendent Dr. Cascone's leadership, we've restored stability, accountability, and a positive trajectory. Homedale High School, ranked 106th out of about 450 public high schools in New Jersey, has catapulted to the 34th spot as a public high school in New Jersey since COVID over these years. Our K-8 program is equally strong, laying a foundation that produces top-performing students. While most districts have about 1 to 2 students that are accepted into our vocational schools here, Homedale consistently has over 25 a year being approved and attending, earning spots in 5 of the top-ranked schools in the state. With this, in my eyes, Homedale High School is undoubtedly one of New Jersey's top 10 public schools, supported by an outstanding K-12 program system that continues to raise the bar. But rankings alone don't tell the full story. Our success is measured by the students we shape and the futures we build. Thank you to our administrators, our teachers, and staff for their dedication and commitment. As we approach the 25-26 budget deadline, we remain committed to the full transparency, sharing 15 years of historical data to our community that demonstrates our responsible resource management. Our board and administration have spent countless hours analyzing the data and developing a strategic, efficient approach to strengthening our schools while keeping Homedale's future secure. I attended first grade at Village in 1983 and graduated with the class of 96 when Homedale High School was at its peak. For 5 decades, my family has proudly invested in Homedale, and through every challenge, one thing has remained constant: our phenomenal schools. Homedale education system has stood the test of time, building leaders since the 1970s, and today we see tomorrow's leaders in our hallways. A great school is an investment, not just in education, but in our town's future. Strong schools drive demand for Homedale. I just want to note, let's not forget that just 4 years ago, many of our students in the halls today started their education remotely, in masks, and behind plexiglass, and we've worked tirelessly to get them back on track. We have the momentum now, we have the right team in place, and we can't afford to go backward. Our children deserve advocates. We need to work together as parents, educated, and community members to keep Homedale on the right path. We have an administration and staff committed to progress, and we believe in them. Change takes time, strategy, and commitment, especially in the complex world of public education. But we only have one chance to set an example for our children, and that's why I'm here tonight. I invite the entire Homedale community to join us in finding solutions to preserve our schools and securing our town's future. Let's move forward together for our children and for Homedale's legacy. And I appreciate the time to send that message to our Homedale community. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chris. Any other comments? Ma'am in the back?
Good evening. Can you hear me okay? Good evening. My name is Alessandra Mediago. I live at 7 Hillcrest Road. I wanted to just take a moment just to ask about the pilot money. And I see all the work that you guys do. It's incredible. We love this town. I appreciate this town. And it's a lot of money coming through the pilot program. And I asked this of what happens with that money, where does it go, and can some of it be used towards the courtesy busing? I did post on the Homedale resource page an article about how courtesy busing is going away in towns across New Jersey. And part of the charm, we moved from Essex County here, part of the charm was how great Homedale is. It's a sleepier town, open space, great parks, and our kids are getting bused to school. My husband and I are both working parents, and we rely on the courtesy busing. It's incredible just for programs for our kids after school to get there. But without courtesy busing, what does that mean? Are we gonna now, our taxes gonna go up because we have to have infrastructure for sidewalks, hiring crossing guards? We have county roads versus town roads. Then what happens with the money if the courtesy busing is taken away? Will that $5 million spent in busing go towards the school? Is the township gonna take it? Like, what will happen? But there was over 114 comments on my post. Clearly, the town is concerned about courtesy busing, and will you truly consider helping the BOE and our budget to make sure that courtesy busing stays? It's part of the charm of this town.
Are you all set?
Yes, I think I'm
All
good.
right. Alessandra, thank you very much. As we stated, we're in negotiations. We're trying to move forward. We're trying to help figure all of this out. And that's really all I can say at this moment. Mike, would you like to add anything?
Sure. Through you, Mayor, on the particular issue of courtesy busing, I would note that it's a function of the Board of Education. Courtesy busing falls under the school statute, specifically NJSA 18A:39-1. So the decision whether or not it's furnished is by the Board of Education. The Township Committee earlier outlined that in response to the Board of Ed's outreach about looking for some financial assistance, that it would engage in that conversation. We did set parameters on that conversation, and one of those is that the township's financial support wouldn't be tethered to any particular cost or expense that the Board of Education has. While the committee would look holistically at, the budget situation, it wouldn't be specific to a particular line item. So, people may be speculating about different budget decisions that would be up to the Board of Education to make. The Township Committee is looking at this from an overall perspective, and we're having further conversations that we really can't comment upon further out here in public.
Okay. Well, I look forward to your decisions coming up in the future.
Thank you for your comments, Alessandra. Any other comments?
Tia Cunningham, 8 Canyon Woods Court. I'm so glad you guys are entertaining the courtesy busing funds, because it's a great town, and we all moved here for the schools, and I think we support our township, and it's nice to hear that you guys are even thinking about supporting the school. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing what your decision is. Thank you.
Tia, appreciate your comments. And as we stated earlier, through Mayor Lucarelli and Mayor Impreviduto, and can hopefully continuing going forward, we will support the schools. We have supported the schools, and that's what we're in the process of figuring out exactly what we're going to do. Any other comments? Come on up, Karen.
Karen Strickland, 26 Hayward Hills Drive. 3 things. Number 1, thank you for appointing a stormwater coordinator. Past time, we needed to have one done. Well done. Number 2, one of the best private-public partnerships that we have in Homedale is our Earth Day celebration that is done with the community group, Citizens for Informed Land Use, and the Homedale Environmental Commission. It's happening on April 27th from 12 to 5, Sunday. We invite all the township committee members and everyone from the community to come join us. 3, I don't have children in school anymore. My 4 children were raised here and graduated from here. And I just want to say that I want to support these parents that we need to have courtesy busing. If there's anything, I know that you guys are working on it, it doesn't come from you, it'll come from the Board of Ed, so this is to the Board of Ed. But courtesy busing also has an environmental impact. If we're going to be having people walking to school, you know the children aren't going to be walking to school, their parents are going to be driving them, we're going to be having all these cars lining up, we're going to have emissions, we want to have an anti-idling campaign in town, and yet the emissions are going to keep growing. We need to protect our town, and we need to protect our children and make sure that they can get to school safely. So thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Any other comments? Straight up back.
Hi, everybody. I'm Darcy Penny, 17 Algonquin Road. Like most here, I have children in the school, courtesy busing. I am less than a mile from Village School. I also am very heavily involved at Village School. I am currently the president of the PSA. I appreciate all the work that our Board of Ed do and our town council, so appreciate any sort of consideration. Really wanting to get an understanding of if there is any sort of consideration for formalizing a shared service agreement to share the pilot revenue. The schools really are the backbone to our community, and we need to make sure that they are taken care of. Courtesy busing being just one of the many issues when it comes to the budgets that are concerned. We don't want to lose teachers, we don't want to lose programs. We try to do everything that we can to support them. Just trying to get an understanding of what we can do. Thank you.
Darcy, thank you very much for your comments and also for your help out at the school. It's a big role as well, being ahead of that. At this time, there's no consideration to that at the moment. As we've stated the past few years and this year as well, we will continue to look and see what we can do to help out and assist. We're in those discussions now, and we're going to keep moving forward. So thank you for your comments. Mr. Yanella?
Made out well. JCP&L restored the power in 4.5 hours, which is a win. I was going to start on the other topic, but since you're there,
Jay, sorry.
Jay Yanello, 18 Ladwood Drive, as if you don't know. But Mayor Foster, you teased about a meeting with JCP&L.
Friday at 9:30, Chief?
Yeah, obviously I would hope you're going to cover the streetlight issue. 100%. Yeah, and not just get smoke back. Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to do it, but I would love for you to walk in with a list of the God knows how many hundred lights we have. Actually, probably 400 or 500 or 600 lights that we have out. Speaking of lights, I mentioned if you go on Route 34 and then past Mayor Improviduto, you mentioned 34, something about 34 today. The 034. Yeah. I find that funny. I also find it fanciful that Aberdeen Matawan has a pot dispensary opening up on 34. That's a priority. But the 50 to 60% of the street lights that are out on 30, most of their main street is dark because the street lights are all out. I know that's not our town, but I find this all laughable. We don't want any accidents on 34. We want a pot dispensary on 34. But most of the street lights out and no one gives a damn.
Just for clarification again for the people watching at home, the pot dispensary is not in Homedale.
I know that. And by the way, I was going to say thank you again for not opening one in Homedale. Just really quickly, and people are going to be laughing because this is an old refrain of mine, but I came out of Fitness Factory yesterday and I was driving home on Middletown Road and I looked to the left and I said I must be imagining things, and I slowed down, and I probably shouldn't have, but I counted. There were 30 deer in the pasture. Today when I left for this meeting, there's 2 dead deer out on the outside of Ladwood Drive. It's not getting any better. I know what your answer is going to be. We can't do anything about it, but at some point we're going to need to do something about it. I'm just bringing that back to the surface.
And I agree with you. It's just our hands are tied, so it's...
I think, by the way, both of these things, the street lights and the deer, I think are county issues, and it's very disappointing that the county has not taken any of these things more seriously. And if they're listening, it's the fact. Finally, about the budget issue, my wife is an employee of the school board, so I am admittedly an employee of the school system. I'm admittedly conflicted on this, but I'm going to say one thing. I understand everyone has to have financial discipline. I understand there's things in budgets you could point to and not do. I've heard or witnessed firsthand some real rationalizing going on within the school district. on the simplest level, it's a really bad look. It's a bad look for this township committee. It's a bad look for the Monmouth Republican Party, and I'm a Republican, I'm a part of it, to say, well, you guys haven't managed your budget or well or whatever. I think less than 5% of the gross revenues that have come in from the Bellworks pilot to date have been shared with the school board. Maybe a lot less than 5%. So it's not fair for the township, the municipal tax rate, for you guys politically to say, we're keeping things flat. We're disciplined. When you're being insulated from the dramatic increases in inflation for health care and everything else like that, the school board is not being insulated from this. The busing, we know, has gone through the roof. A lot of the other costs. So, again, I'm glad you're entertaining this. I hope it could be a really good dynamic discussion going forward. And this is one town. It's a really bad look if you guys are going to line item nitpick every year. I think it should be a much more open, shared agreement with this now material stream of revenue coming in. That's my comment.
Thank you, Jay. Any other comments? Connie, come on up. Nobody's watching, don't worry.
I'm Connie Sadowa. I live at 11 Old Farm Road. I'm off of Rambling Brook. I am actually going to speak on the deer. That hasn't been a problem, as well as, the traffic on that road on Newman Springs. It's pretty bad right now. I work now. I'm back to being a teacher. I will say that it's really hard at certain times to make a left out of my street to go to work, to pick up my kids at school. I'm right down the road from Village School. I love that you want to work with the board. We have an amazing board. We have an amazing town. I moved here for the schools. The schools have been absolutely wonderful to me. I have 3 children, 2 in Indian Hill, 1 in Village. And I want you to really consider not losing courtesy busing. I know you said that, the board is in charge of that, but what happens if they take it away altogether? Okay, I get that. They have that ability to do that. But now what happens to Newman Springs and the buildup of all those cars? I'm going to be sitting there for a very long time to get my kids home from school. So I just want you to consider the traffic. I know that the high school has a lot of traffic going on right there, so it's just another point. But I know you'll do the best. I know you will work with our board and we'll come up with a solution. So thank you for all that you do, and I appreciate you listening to me. Thanks.
Thank you, Connie. Ma'am?
Hi. Tracy Cardello, 73 East Main Street. I am actually directly across the street from Ladwood. And the reason I wanted to address the committee tonight is about the traffic on Newman Springs Road and just the complete inability between 3 and 6 to make a turn out of my driveway at all, let alone a left-hand turn. So I don't know if there's a traffic light being considered for Middletown Road, but I wanted to add my voice to the collection of other people who are speaking on it tonight.
Thank you very much. Not that I'm aware of. That would be a county thing. We could take a look into that, Chief, if we can, please. Joe, come on up.
Hi, everyone. Joe Dreglia, 8 Offer Place. Thanks for hearing me. I'm not going to echo any of the sentiments that have already been said. We all care about our kids. You guys care about the town. You have fiduciary responsibility. We do as taxpayers. The Board of Ed does for the school system. I guess my concern would be, like you said, the board can make a decision to eliminate the buses. A lot of parents depend on the buses. Growing up in more of an urban childhood in the city, we could walk anywhere. What would then the town do to help that out if the buses were to be eliminated? It's not really like a Rumson or even a Fairhaven where you can ride your bike to school. Not a lot of sidewalks, not a lot of walking areas. So can we even pose a question like that? Would that be on you at that point if the buses were to be eliminated, as far as infrastructure and trying to facilitate things of that nature?
Mike, do you want to speak to that state law?
Sure. So, I mean, under state law, the Board of Ed has the discretion on the courtesy busing. If it provides the courtesy busing, it then triggers different obligations with respect to certain roads, the way they're classified. if somehow it were eliminated, which I think everyone here is having a conversation to, so I really don't think we should entertain that hypothetical at this point. But, the town would work constructively to address whatever issues there are in terms of, statutory responsibility for the township. If you're ever having that conversation, municipalities do have responsibilities for crossing guards, and the township actually is in the employment business for a crossing guard. There's one behind Indian Hill School, so the township does provide that service. So that could be a potential township aspect of the concern you're raising, but right now we're not really entertaining that because we're trying to address these things so that conversation doesn't need to be had.
Yeah, not even to get to that point. The conversations that you're addressing right now, whatever way it goes, would that be instituted by the next school year? Can that something that could be answered right now? Would we know about the buses?
We're trying to move it forward as quickly as possible, Joe. I mean, that's the reality of it. We're going to hopefully send out some more information this week and just try to keep it moving forward. That's where we're at the moment.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joe. Sir?
John Poole, 2 Tilton Place. I have grandchildren in the school system. I just want to echo some of the previous comments. We're all concerned about the courtesy busing. Right now, from our neighborhood, there's no way anybody could walk to school because of the lack of sidewalks, as well as I'd like to echo the previous comment. Besides just a budget issue, the fact now all parents are going to be or grandparents are going to be driving their kids to school is going to be the loss of the time. So that's a budget issue on families. It's an environmental issue. And certainly, although the Board of Education can make the ultimate decision, the more financial help that the town gives the Board of Education, the greater chance that the courtesy busing will stay. So I appreciate you talking about it and letting me speak. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up, John. Anyone else comments? Come on up, Chris.
Sorry, repeat offender. Yeah, no, this is good. This is good. This is healthy. Chris Damari, 7 Oaks. I just wanted to say that I didn't get a chance to publicly applaud you guys. I did at our Board of Ed meeting, but I really appreciate the initiatives that you took to file that grant and get that $3.5 million grant. Now, that is a perfect example of the Board of Ed and the Township Committee collaborating, and that's going to be a huge success. Why are we laughing?
No, finish. I'll answer.
Am I going to be able to respond back to you, though?
Finish,
Okay.
finish.
So, but I'm saying, like, I never have viewed the schools and the town as separate entities. We are all one. We're all taxpayers. Most of our kids go to the school. When we talk about the seniors, most of their kids went to school. They have grandkids in the schools. They're very proud of the schools. We're all very proud of our schools. It's an incredible network for our children to become a part of. I know we've all benefited from that, and we'll continue to. But I did want to get up and say that road project is going to be phenomenal for this township, and I really appreciate you moving that forward. So thank you. I'll wait for DJ to respond.
No. And I'm, I guess, adding levity to tonight, right? But at the same time, I want to be serious. And as much as I appreciate you saying it's a great collaboration between the township and the school system, which I guess it's one way to look at it. And I guess another way to look at it is, at what is the school system financially putting towards that, on a percentage basis, where it looks like it will probably end up being funded, 100% by the township. No, plus the grant. So the grant's not coming out of our pocket, right? It's coming out of the state. Or is that federal or state? State. So again, it is a collaboration, but I think that's just an example of where the township supports the school system financially, right? And which is what we always want to do, right?
And I agree to that, and I think that's well said. And again, I think that goes to saying that we kind of all operate as a partnership, and that's just the way I look at it. We can't file for that grant. That was Monmouth County Roads, and I appreciate that you did it, so it's great that they responded for us because that road needs to be modernized. So I do appreciate it, but I think it was great that the Board of Ed initiated those conversations and told the story, and we also spent a lot of money to get designs written up, but we kind of got the fire started. So you guys could have turned the other way, but you didn't. You guys got it going, and now everybody's going to enjoy those roads. So I'm here to say I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Any other comments? You coming? I didn't see your hand up. It was, everybody else's hands were up there, my man.
Okay, Lance Luby, Line Road. So first, just to clarify, so poor choice of words earlier. Dire Straits was not what what I meant. So let me clarify. We're not a school district in our neighboring county to the south. So I recognize that we're not in dire straits like some other towns are. But again, not to rehash, but I hope that maybe in the future that the people that are sitting up on the dais there now and future leaders up on the dais there, maybe there's some sort of hybrid alternative to these pilot programs that have become abundant over the past several years. I mean, they didn't exist decades ago, I don't believe. But maybe there's an opportunity for some sort of hybrid of that, because it seems like that's the sticking point, is that the school district is losing money or losing opportunity for revenue. And I could be wrong, so correct me where I am wrong.
Well, I just want to add, Lance, the pilot that's set up in town currently, there's really minimal to no impact as far as on the schools. Now, there's been mention in the past by some other members about some other pilots like Cranford and the one coming up in Red Bank. They've included the Board of Education in there because those were large housing developments that were going to, I don't want to say negatively impact the schools, but they were going to add a lot of children to the schools. So the townships at that time said, let's get them some money in addition to this so that they can ramp up their infrastructure and facilities. In the case here, the services, the Bell Works, and then the 55 and over community don't impact the schools, which is why it was written the way it was. So we don't want to go back and be revisionist. What we want to do is look at it on an annual basis and say, where can we help out? And we've done that. We've clearly done that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but I'll push back a little bit because are we saying that none of the over 55 communities that exist on Route 35 and other places, none of their taxes go to the schools?
There's no pilots there.
But that's my point.
So there would be no Bell Works without a pilot program. So that's where you have to start from. Those other developments were done, those 55 and over communities were done as normal developments. Right, so that's the...
Well, that's why I'm saying that maybe there's some sort of hybrid alternative where both sides are satisfied. The town is satisfied by getting its revenue that it wants. I'm against the pilot program anyway. And if we didn't have Bell Works, I don't know whether that's good or bad. I'm just saying I'm against it.
It would be extremely bad if we didn't have Bell Works. As you've mentioned that, not you
there's houses in
specifically.
there, so it seems like there would have been some
That's part of
opportunity
the
to have-
development, Lance. Like
Right.
that wouldn't have happened. All three of those sections are all part and parcel with the overall, not just the pilot
We don't know
agreement.
that. We're suspecting that would have been the case. That's a supposition.
We know it.
Okay. Okay.
And that's been legally represented.
Do you know the lottery numbers for next week? So I
No,
could
in order
win them
to
because
in order to qualify for a pilot, the redeveloper needs to demonstrate a financial inability to complete the project, but for the tax incentive. So Somerset made that representation in the early 2010s, which allowed it to qualify for the pilot. So the legislature created that tool to allow municipalities to have redevelopers be financially incentivized to engage in a redevelopment that they otherwise are not able to do.
Okay. I can't imagine that all of the property in Homedale, something couldn't have been done with it. You're going to have a hard time selling that to me. That in this populated town where people want to come because of the great school system, that something else couldn't have happened.
All right. Thank you, Lance.
So, thank you.
Mr. Chishita? Ken, I'll get to you next. Sorry.
Patrick Truskita, 56 Line Road. I wasn't going to speak, but I felt obligated to rebut any semblance of non-success of Bellworks. Okay, Bellworks was Bell Labs who built Homedale, and they closed in 2007. It was a dormant building. Ralph Zucker brought it back. It was a pilot program. It was a community outreach to do that. It is a wild success beyond anybody's belief that it could be. It is now throwing $7 million a year to Homedale as part of the pilot. Sure, it should be shared, but it should be shared in a responsible way, as every committee has done. So I think I just want to say that Bellworks was a success and continues to be a success, and it's really what Homedale's all about. Thank
Well,
you.
I thank you, and I'm sure Ralph Zucker thanks you as well, Pat, for the comments. Ken?
Ron Emmer's not here, so I figured someone has to come up for him. Ken G. H. Say Street. I just want to follow up a little bit on one of the gentlemen, what he said about the pilot. Absolutely right. That's unfortunately, that doesn't solve today's problem. The issue with the pilot is, you know, we can debate whether a tax incentive is needed to launch Bellworks, Regency, and other projects like that. That's not the issue. The issue is that if a tax incentive is needed, whatever pilot payments are made should be part of the normal taxable, rateable base where the school districts and other entities who are relying on that tax base can get their share. So for example, instead of being 95% to the township and 5% to the county, that should be just part of the general taxable rate base where they, you know, school gets the 68%, township gets their 17, 18% and whatever. So that's a bigger issue. That's what we need to go to the state legislature and do that, because that doesn't affect just Homedale, it affects other towns. But like many of them, you know, we obviously, many of us came to Homedale because of the open nature, bucolic nature, but in particular because of the schools. So, you know, I fully support some of the concerns and making sure that the schools are taken care of. Mr. Damari mentioned he graduated in 1996 at his peak, and it gone downhill since he graduated. Is that his fault? One thing he didn't mention was that in 1996, Homedale High School was ranked #1. Not only that, we were specifically mentioned by the governor in her State of the State address to New Jersey. But equally as important was that the amount of expense that the school spent was less than the New Jersey average. That is not the case today. So I support them, but I also want to mention that there is a red herring. So there's a couple of things. One is when the school district budgeted for the student transportation last year, there was a presentation made. Part of the presentation and part of the submission to the New Jersey Department of Education is that you have to provide the numbers for the 2 prior years and the immediate prior year. So 2 years before that, we spent $5.3 million in student transportation. The year before that was $5.1 million, and we budget only 4.5. So keep that in mind. So at least the current year, I know that there was a newsletter that was released that they need $600,000 to $800,000. That was a budget problem. Now, with respect going forward, there's a little bit of a red herring. The schools, as most of you know, before 2012, when Chris Christie signed to law, our elections were held, for the school district that is, was held in April. And every year, the budget for the school district had to be approved by the voters. I know some of you have been around and remember that. But when the election was moved to November, part of that included a 2% cap where they don't have to go to the voters. However, they always have that option. Remember, it wasn't that long ago we had the 2020 referendum for $40 million. So I just want to keep that in mind. We support them. We want school to do well. But I do think that in full disclosure, there is a little bit of red herring. If they want to, the school district can raise whatever amount that they deem they need, and if that exceeds 2% increase over the prior year, they have that option to go to the voters. And Homedale residents are not stupid, so we'll see what happens. But I support, kudos to you guys. Though in prior years, there's not always been discussion and support for the schools. The fact that you guys are doing it in non-insignificant amount of money is kudos to you guys and working relationship with them. Keep up the good work. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments, Ken. Thank you for pointing out that it was this committee that started it as well. Joe, did you want to make another comment?
Come on, get up here. Joe Tregley, 8 Offer Place. I'm not even going to comment on pilot. I know that money's completely discretionary. The municipality.
Can you do your name and address again, please?
Oh, I did it. Joe Tregley, 8 Offer Place, sorry. And so that's completely discretionary on you guys to use that for the schools. I want to go back to Chris and Mr. Lucarelli's comments before. And Mr. Lucarelli's comments before about the Crawford Corner Road project. I don't applaud the fact that the school board and the township committee are working together on something. I think that should go without saying. I find no need to celebrate that. And I hope that that project is nowhere in relatable to losing busing and possibly staff at the school. So if I took that the wrong way, I apologize, but that's how it came off to me. So I just want to make that clear. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joe. Any other comments? Seeing none, can we get a motion? And before I actually entertain that motion, thank you all for coming out. I mean that sincerely. We believe in a partnership with the not just the school board, but with every facet of this town. And when we look at everything that we need to do, we have to take everything into consideration. So we will continue to do that. We thank you for your support. Ken, do you want to come back up?
He wants to get the referendum going. Yeah. Come to the board meeting tonight, tomorrow.
Figure so many gentlemen have more than one shot at the bite of the apple here. One very quick thing, in case the board members from the school district here, I'm not aware, I'm sure they are, but just in case, there is a carve out for the 2% cap for the school district budget. And one of them is the employee benefits and so on. So you can carve that out. That is not subject to the 2%. They probably know that, but just in case I want to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
So can I make a comment, Mayor?
Absolutely, Dave.
Thank you. So I thought I heard you say, and Chris, did you say that was there a meeting regarding a referendum? Is that what you just said?
I was joking that Ken wants to get a referendum going for the schools, it sounds like. I was just
I
making a
honestly
joke.
thought you were serious just then.
We're not ready for that.
Okay.
We're trying to
'cause
avoid that.
Okay, well, you could have a special
we can,
referendum.
but right
okay.
now, I think the gap is not big enough to go out, but
Okay,
we'll see where we're at.
I heard you and I thought you were serious, and
Blame Ken, Mr. G.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Chris, for the clarification.
How about a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a great evening, everybody.